Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's quick review for Maniac. This video is part of a series of videos where I give a quick, spoiler-free review of a show currently airing. These videos are aimed more at those who haven't seen the show, but those who have will know more of what I'm talking about. In this video, I will review the limited Netflix series Maniac. So, Maniac is what they're calling a limited series, as Season 1 contains 10 episodes, but is intended to be the only season of the show. It stars Hollywood icons Emma Stone and Jonah Hill, and is directed and produced by Cary Fukunaga, who is most known for True Detective Season 1 and Beasts of No Nation. And it also has a connection to one of my all-time favorite shows, The Leftovers, as it also co-stars Justin Theroux, and Fukunaga's co-showrunner is Patrick Somerville, who worked as a writer on The Leftovers. Now, I know the term cinematic gets thrown around a lot with Netflix shows, as you often hear the phrase, oh, that this show is basically one movie stretched out over 10 hours. I myself have said this in regards to Netflix shows like Stranger Things and Narcos, but I think that statement has never been more true than it is with Maniac. This basically is a 10-hour movie, and a damn good one. I suspect the only reason it wasn't released in the cinemas is because they felt they needed the 10-hour format to tell the story, and had they tried to cram it into 2.5 hours, it wouldn't have worked. And if it were released as a movie, it would be my favorite movie that came out this year. Emma Stone and Jonah Hill give what is, in my opinion, the best performances I've ever seen out of them, and given their catalog of big Hollywood films that they have been in, that is indeed a bold statement. However, I can understand that the show may not be for everyone and only appeal to a certain niche, but this niche is right up my alley. And that is a mind-bending, mind-twisty ride that deals with elements of mental illness in an absurd and quirky way that's loaded with complex characters and plots and references that as soon as you watch it, you feel you want to watch it again. And those have always been my favorite kinds of movies. So, Maniac follows two characters, Jonah Hill's Owen and Emma Stone's Annie, who both are suffering from mental issues, who enter a drug trial and eventually run by Justin Theroux's Dr. Mantelray, where the trial's aim is to eliminate sadness, basically. So episode 1 follows Owen as we get his backstory and what leads him to the trial. Owen, we learn, is a schizophrenic who suffers delusions and has a hard time distinguishing reality from fantasy, whom is under pressure by his family to lie in court in order to save his brother. Episode 2 follows Annie's backstory and what leads her to the trial, as we learn Annie had become addicted to a drug only available through the drug trial, as she's suffering from a traumatic event involving her sister and having grown up with neglectful parents. In episode 3, onward focuses on the drug trial, where Annie and Owen meet and form a connection that may or may not have to do with an artificially intelligent computer that runs the drug trial, while Dr. Mantelray, the creator of this trial, is called in at the last second to take over and deal with the many issues that has arisen during the trial. The show has a very surreal setting and is often very tongue-in-cheek. The showrunners had explained that the intention of the show wasn't to be set in the future or even within our own timeline, but instead is an inverse reflection of modern society, intended to be an analog version of our society. For example, if one is lonely, they can hire a friend for the day, or if one doesn't have enough money to pay for something, they can have someone follow them around and read ads to them in order to pay for it. And if one wants to blackmail, threaten, or extort someone, they can simply go to the blackmailing store to hire someone to do it. And the look and aesthetics of the show isn't what I would call realistic, and mostly consists of homages to previous films. And many of the events that occur in the show are very tongue-in-cheek as well. Officially, it's described as a dark comedy, but I would say, despite its silly nature and effective comedy, it is in fact a very effective and a very emotionally powerful drama, and its overall tone is dramatic despite being set in a very satirical setting. The tongue-in-cheek nature of the setting, I think, only adds to the mind-bending effect of the show, as in some ways, some of the fantasies that Owen and Annie visit in their drug trial more closely resemble our reality than what is presented as reality in the show, which so nicely adds to the fact that one of the main characters we follow has a hard time distinguishing fantasy from reality, whereas the other one actively tries hard to hide from reality. It's a really meta way to get this point across, and overall it's chock full of metaphors, hidden messages, recurring themes, and complex messages. So if this sounds like the kind of thing that appeals to you, I would highly recommend Maniac. As I said, I can see that this kind of thing wouldn't appeal to everyone, and some may be off-put by the quirkiness or mind-bending nature of the show, but for those who do like that sort of thing, I personally believe this is one of the best examples of this type of film out there. So my rating for Maniac out of 10 is a 10 the best. This is totally my thing. A complex, mind-bending story that makes one question the nature of reality and what is reality, combined with great character explorations that explore aspects of mental illness and what it means to be happy, while featuring some amazing performances and intense storytelling that's so packed full of metaphors and hidden messages that it demands repeat viewings. And this is so incredibly right up my alley, so I loved it to pieces and I cannot wait to watch it again and again. Such a great show. Now, as for the question of will I watch the next season, unfortunately there will be no next season. As I explained, it was only intended to be a one-off thing. And frankly, I hope they don't change their minds and create a next season or a sequel, because I think this season stands so well on its own as a complete story. I think any further explanation would only diminish it. But I will definitely keep my eye on Cary Fukunaga and what he's up to in the future, as it's an absolutely brilliant creation. So that's it for my quick review of Maniac. Be sure to check out my channel for more quick reviews of shows currently airing. You can also check out my channel as I do many more videos for shows like Game of Thrones, Star Trek The Expanse, Lost, and more. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that, and thanks a lot for watching.